National Action Network announcements.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters. You're listening to the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally. I'd like you to get on your feet right now for the president and founder of the National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharp.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. 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 Hug the person next to you, tell them you love them. The National Action Network Change Choir, give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning at the Saturday Action Rally, and for you that are here live at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the Village of Harlem, and for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and you that are watching live stream around the country at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We're happy to be with you another Saturday to let you know where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Attorney Michael Hart. And of course, in about 8 minutes, we'll be going on our national television show on Impact Television, seen all over the country. But let me first say that we're happy to be celebrating today the birthday of the widow of Eric Garner, Sister Esau Garner. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Happy birthday to Esau. And it is also would have been their 30th wedding anniversary. All right. And she is certainly a member of our family. We've been a member of her family, a great sister, and she's kept the fires burning, her and Emerald and Erica and the boys And then, of course, Gwen, and we're happy with Gwen's came in today. We've got two of the mothers of the movement. Gwen, of course, Carr, mother of Eric Gardner, and of course, our long-standing sister, beloved, the mother of Amadou Diallo, Madam Kakiati Diallo. And we once we get involved, right, we stay involved. Right. Some folks, you know, get involved in situations or tragedies or cases, and they use the case to put them in a position and forget about the victims. But we stay family with the families. I tell them that in the beginning. When the headlines are gone, we're going to be there. Right. Because this is not about using someone as a prop. This is about fighting for justice and staying with those. Their pain won't heal.
That's right.
The page will turn to another issue, but they will never ever replace their sons. Esau will never replace her husband. I mean, she's still a young woman, she can get married again and again, but it will never fill that hole. Them kids will never replace their dad. And you ought not go into people's situation if you're not going to stay with them and respect them. I see more people jump up on the news talking that had nothing to do with nothing. Giving inside interviews on what happened with Ghana, what happened with Diallo. I said, well, I must have been asleep that night. I didn't see them nowhere. But people need to understand the human side of this. And that's why we celebrate their birthdays. We celebrate their being, because every birthday, I don't care how jubilant it may be, they think about the loved one that would have been there with them had they not been a victim of that. So I want all of us to make Esau feel real good today on her birthday, because she could have been celebrating this anniversary and birthday with Eric. But because of the injustice of the NYPD, that is not the case. So we are going to stand with her. Let me say, by way of announcements, we're also very glad to have with us several of our pastors as we gear up for the 1,000 Ministers March on Monday. Right. And we're going to, as soon as we're going to Impact, hear from a couple of them, because I want the preachers around the country to hear a few words from them. But certainly Reverend Johnny Green is in the house. And Pastor Mount Nebo Baptist Church President of Impact. And I want you listening in LIB to know that Reverend Green and, of course, Reverend Patrick Young, where's Patrick? He is of Impact, Pastors First Baptist Church in East Elmhurst. They have worked all over this country on this 1,000 Ministers March. Came down and convened the ministers in D.C. and this week, and they've called all their Impact forces out, and they have been real partners. And they're part of Nan, and Nan is part of them. And certainly Johnny will be on the program, but he has really done a great effort, and we are glad and proud about it. I'm very proud of the work Minister Kirsten John Foy in our region has done. And of course of our own Reverend Philip Craig in Queens Chapel of National Action. And they'll be leaving, buses are leaving from New York. Clint Miller and Brooklyn, others have buses going to hook up with a bus. Phil Craig has a bus out of Queens. If you have not registered, you can still do so now. All you have to do is call 1-877-626-4651, 626-4651. Or you can go online to Twitter. You can go online to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. www.nationalactionnetwork.net and register online. I want to also make it clear that we are not going to Washington as a commemoration. We are going as a continuation.
Right.
Many people say, well, you know, they're going to commemorate the March on Washington 54 years ago. No, we're going to let this administration know that this is a continuation of when ministers stood up for moral principles and stood up. This is a moral fact. One of the reasons we call this, you've never seen 1,000 rabbis, imams, and ministers stand together and call a ministers' march. It is immoral what they're doing in this country. And we've got to raise a moral voice, whether it is Republican or Democrat, whether it is independent, conservative. It is immoral what is going on. And that is why we are doing this 1,000 Ministers March. And many, we're going to do over 1,000 ministers. Because we are going to make a historic statement that has never been made before. So I want everybody to be prepared. Now, if you're not a minister, you're welcome to come and walk with the ministers. But this is front and center preachers, imams, rabbis. Because when you look at what happened around this country in just 8 months, it's hard to believe that Trump only been in there 8 months. It feels like he's been in there half my life. So we have really been lacking a clear moral statement. Let me tell you something. One of the preachers, Reverend Green, Paula White, said that to question Trump is to question the will of God. Well, that's why ministers need to stand up and answer that. We cannot allow those kind of statements to be the only statements from the faith community. Just like when all the evangelical ministers got in the Oval Office and laid hands on Trump. Well, who gonna lay hands on the poor? Who gonna lay hands on those losing their health care? Who gonna lay hands on Mrs. Gardner and Miss Diallo? God didn't call you to lay hands on the powerful. He called you to speak truth to those in power. All right, so we're live. Now let me go. Let me first welcome to say a few words to our pastor, who is pastor of New Mount Zion Baptist Church here in Harlem. He also is the chairman of the board of Impact, and he is, God only knows what lies before him. Amen. You know, before I became Baptist, I was Kojic, and we prophesied. So I don't know what God may do, state president. I mean, I didn't know why I said that. Reverend Carl Washington, give him a hand.
To our leader, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton, to all of you, my brothers and sisters, it is my delight to be here this morning, especially with these ladies who share on this podium, for it was 22 years ago that Y.T. Walker dragged me to a NAN meeting. 22 years ago, Wyatt Walker dragged me because of what had happened to Mrs. Diallo's son. He dragged me to a meeting and said, you need to meet not that Al Sharpton, but that Al Sharpton. It was 22 years ago. It was 22 years ago, amen, that he dragged me to a meeting. And then in 2001, when he was wrongfully incarcerated for trying to help the folk in Vallecas, we had to come together as ministers, and it was at the New Mount Zion Baptist Church on the day of his release that we had a breakfast for the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton, amen. And we raised money to help him and man move forward. And so I'm honored to be here to share with him. He is our leader in this fight. And Dr. Y.T. Walker said, we need Al Sharpton, because Al Sharpton goes unafraid into places many of us refuse to go. And so I think we ought to just thank God for our leader, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton.
Now, Washington, give him a hand. I want to hear a few words from my pastor, who has led and, in my opinion, brought to a new level of leadership Bethany Baptist Church, where I was baptized by the legendary Reverend William Jones, and he is now more than filled those shoes and sat in that seat, the pastor of Bethany Baptist Church, Reverend Adolphus Lacey.
Again, thank you, Reverend Sharpton. It's certainly a pleasure to be here with the National Action family. And again, I just come to support Reverend Sharpton. This is my first. I would watch online and I would text him when he would say some stuff. And last time I only texted him when he said, God can't use no punk preacher. And I told him I ain't a punk preacher. But again, as I seek to battle behind a leader who ain't afraid to lead. Indeed, and more importantly, a leader that knows where to go. And he does not, therefore, put his finger in the air to see where everybody wants to go. In fact, because he's a leader, he gets there first. He gets there first because God has placed a call upon his life. And I'm so glad to be a part of the Ministers' March, because again, as he said, it is a moral march. And we go to be visible, we go to be vocal, and to articulate our vision of the future. We refuse to let white evangelicals determine the terms on who our God is. Our God is on the side of the oppressed, and we're going to stand up for the oppressed. So we say no justice, no justice. Thank you, Reverend Shaw.
Give him a hand, Pastor Adolphus Lacey. Let me say, and I think it is very important that we understand, when we saw 3 weeks ago what happened in Charlottesville, the hate that was demonstrated, and then 3 weeks later, in the middle of a storm, we are praying for the people in Texas. A number 4 hurricane hit Texas. And in the middle of the storm, the president decides to pardon a man that had been convicted by the federal courts of racial profiling. If you want to know why we marching Monday, how does anybody in the middle of a national disaster decide that they will turn their attention to giving a pardon to a man convicted? Don't forget now. That's right. Sheriff Arpaio was not just accused, he was convicted for contempt of court on a racial profiling charge. Now many of y'all remember 2003 and 4, I went out there and led marches against him. I know what I'm talking about. Right. But whether you agree with me or not, he was convicted. And how do you 3 weeks after, you said there were good people on both sides, and in many ways became guilty of making a moral equivalence between haters, neo-Nazis, Klan folks, and those that were protesting, and then come back and say that ain't good enough for you. The first part I'm going to do is for someone convicted of racial profiling. what he says. Now, that sends every signal you need sent on the kind of administration we're dealing with. You have not even served a year in office, and you pardoning guys convicted of bigotry and bias. 3 weeks after we saw a young woman killed by a hate terrorist in Charlottesville. That's why we're going to Washington Monday. Now, Ms. White said that to criticize the president is to go against the will of God, because it is God's will of who is ruling. Well, first of all, Paula White built her ministry in the black community. She pastors a black church. She told her story, how she came out of a trailer park and God raised her up, and we accepted Johnny Green, her testimony. Now, we could have said, why did God send you to us? But we are not biased people. We accept you if God calls you. But I don't know where you went to Sunday school. Because there are some very serious historic problems with your analysis that God puts people in power and therefore you must respect them. Because if we were to use that, Sister White, then Moses should have challenged Pharaoh. If that is going to be the premise, then none of those rulers from Nebuchadnezzar all the way across, 3 Hebrew boys should have bowed to the music. Daniel would have never went to the lion's den. What Bible did you get that out of? If we are to obey, then Herod was right when he went killing the young boys born under him. You can't serve Jesus, who was a refugee from Bethlehem to Egypt, and then turn around and tell me I can't question Donald Trump. I serve a refugee that had to stand up to immigration policies of him. Now, I said that on my television show one day, and the folk and Fox got mad with me and said, wait a minute, how can Sharpton call Jesus a refugee? Well, what is a refugee? A refugee is one that seeks refuge in a safe country. Is that right? Well, the Bible says that Joseph was told that they're killing all of the newborn males and to flee to Egypt. He didn't come from Egypt. He fled to Egypt, which means that they went to Egypt to find refuge from where they could not have safety in Bethlehem, which means when they crossed the border into Egypt, they were refugees. So you can't have it both ways. The fight about immigration is not only a fight to me about protecting people's civil rights, it goes back to me to my biblical context of Jesus being a refugee. But for Paula White to hold up the Bible that is full of ungodly rulers, all the way from Esther to you name every prophet, Jeremiah, Micah, Amos, had to prophesy against the rulers of their day.
That's right. That's right.
If you want the favor of something ungodly about standing up to those that rule and rule wrong. It's something ungodly about being quiet and silent when God's children is being oppressed and abused. Somewhere I read, woe unto them who are at ease in Zion. We need to also, and I got to say this, we need to also stop supporting these preachers that are afraid to preach the word and stand up for the people. We need to stop supporting the ministries and acting like it's all right. If you invest and plant a seed in false prophets, you become an accomplice to false prophecy. We have got to call them down. And I'm going to tell you something else that's going to get me in trouble, but it doesn't matter. We have got to, as we look, I've been reading all of this. National Action Network has been one of the first groups that questioned these statutes. Like we did the Confederate flag. But I want y'all to know something. When we get through with these statutes, we're going to also deal with the distortion of these characters that they paint of religious figures. How do you have nothing but blonde, blue-eyed people in these biblical pictures hanging up in all of these public places? How could these people have lived in the Middle East and Africa and have blue eyes and white skin, and we sit there and allow that to go without questioning what we're doing? Let me stay right there. If the fight in Charlottesville was over white supremacy, and it was. Reason the fight in Charlottesville was white supremacy is Robert E. Lee was the general of an army, of the Confederate Army, that was there, developed and founded to protect slavery and have an insurrection against the United States government in order to preserve slavery. Am I right? Is that what Robert E. Lee was? So no matter how you cut it, he's there as a general of white supremacy, because the only way you could justify slavery is to say that whites were superior and therefore we were inferior and was born to serve them and not get paid. That's the basis of white supremacy. You cannot justify working people with no wages unless you delegate them to being subhuman and you being superhuman. But don't stop there. The ultimate expression of white supremacy is to take those that represent God himself and change the color of how they're depicted. Because what you're saying to my children, what you're saying to Eric Gardner's granddaughter, is that blacks cannot be the instrument of God. We must change the complexion in the portraits to make it white, because whiteness and God is synonymous, and that is the ultimate white supremacy. I just told y'all, Jesus had to leave car washing in Bethlehem, flee to Egypt, to hide for safety. Well, if you're going to flee and go to Egypt, you must look like the other kids in Egypt. You couldn't hide where you stand out. I and house. So if Jesus and Joseph and Mary fled to North Africa, they must have looked like the folk in North Africa. So if they look like the folk in North Africa, Reverend, then who is that you got hanging up in your church? You got that the only thing white in your church is the picture of your Savior. You ain't got no white members. You got an all-black church and a white Savior. That is the theology of white supremacy. Come on. Because you're afraid to go to God for yourself. God said, I'll pour out my spirit among all flesh. It's time for us to get the chains off our brains. Y'all better listen to Paul the White run around there messing with Trump. Trump didn't call me to preach. No. Come on. He ain't got enough money to compromise my conviction. We need to stop this cowardly kind of sermon. And we need to stop accepting people that would turn around and compromise the gospel for their own elevation. Greed, distortion. I remember when I was 13 years old, I was at the church with Adam Clay Powell, who was pastor of Abyssinia Baptist Church at the time. Looked up at the mural in Abyssinia and said, you see that picture of Jesus? Get it out of here. Adam said that. We've been dealing with liberation theology for 40 years. And now you got somebody coming and telling you that it's all right to worship someone who is engaged in blatant forms of bigotry, and that is the will of God, and you don't have the nerve to stand up and say something. Then who called you? And why did they call you? When many of us don't understand, God does not need your credentials to use you. A lot of you preachers that feel that unless you have certain accreditation, then you can't do certain things. And then a lot of folk start talking about, well, you know, I've had experiences in life that really have broken me and that have really scarred me and blemished me. But let me tell you something, it does not matter what you have experienced in life. It does not break your experience with God. I was walking down the street, Patrick Young. One of the things that I observed is very interesting. If you look at a sidewalk, they come and lay all kind of concrete and layers to make a sidewalk. Folks get paid a lot of money. And they solidify the sidewalk. They leave a little piece open. But even the best of sidewalks, if a harder force hits it, the sidewalk will crack. And in the middle of the crack, you can see some grass growing, which means that God can grow something in the middle of your cracks. I don't care how much somebody lays concrete down on you, God can still bust through. I was watching the other day, everybody was calling. I'm over at MSNBC. Everybody's saying, you're going out to the roof, watch the eclipse. And I thought about this thing. I told Ashley, I said, you know, it's interesting. The reason why we can march on Monday on Trump, reason why we can question him, they won the Congress. Republicans got the majority of the House of Representatives. They won the Senate. Republicans got the majority of the U.S. Senate.
Come on with it.
They won the White House. Donald Trump is the president. Now call down there and tell the Congress and the White House to stop the eclipse. Tell Trump with all of his power, tell the moon to back up. In fact, he tried to look up and they told him you better put some shades on. Tweet Trump this morning. Tell him to cancel Hurricane Harvey. You so powerful. You so strong. You know how to win. Back up the hurricane. There's some things that you can't do. I don't care what title you got. There is a God that's still on the throne. Stand up, because the God that nature listens to, the God that'll eclipse the sun and the moon and don't need your permission, the God that'll send a storm and then will let you walk through the storm, he's still on the throne. And that God told me if I stand up, he'd hold me up, and you can't trust me back down. Say this, I let you go. There's a scripture.
Keep going.
As we look at movement history, they talk about we are the Joshua generation. And Dr. King and Andy Young and Abernathy, Jesse, and them were the Moses generation. Now, I looked at this little thing, I alluded to it the other week, but I want to break it down a minute and let you go. We saw a point where Moses, after he had led the children of Israel over the Red Sea, he decided to have them a little group, a little crew, Kirsten.
Yes, sir.
He said, I want y'all, we out of slavery now.
That's right.
Shackles off our arms and legs. We don't have to make bricks now with no straw. We don't have to labor for no wages. And God has promised us a land. In fact, we call it the Promised Land. I want y'all to go and survey the land.
That's right. Right. That's right.
Why did send a survey to land? Well, because you need to have a strategy and a plan in order to take land. You just can't take some land without a survey. Phil Craig is in the building. You need a plan if you gonna build. If you gonna have an infrastructure, if you gonna make some work, you need a survey. And he sent some out to survey the land.
Yes, sir.
When they came back, they said, we found the land.
Yeah.
You found it, yeah. And we surveyed the land. Yeah. Said, well, we don't think we can take that land. Why not? Because to us they appeared as giants. And we as grasshoppers. All right, so how do you transfix that with the Moses generation of civil rights? Got the king. And that generation, they brought us across the Red Sea. We crossed Jim Crow River. You don't sit in the back of the bus no more. We crossed Jim Crow River. You don't have to beg nobody to let you eat in a restaurant no more. We crossed Jim Crow River. You can vote now. So we got over the river, and he sent those out to survey the land. Some looked at the land and said, yeah, we see them, but those folks are giants. So we can have a title, but we can't stand up to them because we just grasshoppers. You was a slave. We brought you out of slavery. But now you done assign yourself to grasshopper status. So you sit up in the governor's office and act like you still on the other side of the Red Sea. Because you still got chains on your brain. Because you looked at the land and didn't think you could take the land. Or when you talk about shopping, well, I saw you look at LaGuardia. But you didn't think you could take that land. So when Johnny Green and Patrick Young and Carl Washington go in and say, wait a minute, we deserve our part, you come grasshopping. It's all right. We're sharp with women. Go to de Blasio, you come grasshopping. The problem we got, Carl Washington, is some grasshopping Negro leaders that can't stand up. They just hop around white folks all day. To the state convention and give out the President's Award and give out the Minister of the Year Award and the Pastor Award. I want you to just call me up because I got a few grasshopper awards I want to give out. You don't remember that we crossed the Red Sea. I ain't got to bow to no governor. I'm on the other side of the Red Sea. I ain't got to buck and dance for no man. I'm on the other side of the Red Sea. I don't need access to Trump. I'm not no grasshopper. Get up off your belly hopping around and stand up or get out of the way. But there were two. That was among the crew. It don't take the majority. It just takes two. You may be by yourself, pride is gone. You don't care how you look. You don't care who's laughing at you. You just put it down and you put it all on the line. That's what we need now. And Joshua and Caleb were the two that turned around to Moses and said, I don't care what these grasshoppers take. I believe we can take the land. Why would you conflict in the report? Why would you go along with the other crew? Because if God can open up Red Seas, if God could drown Pharaoh's army, why do you think God brought us out here to fail now? I don't care what they look like. We come too far. We fought too many giants that you sitting around scared now. Listen, folk tell me, well, you know, I just give up. Trump is just too much. Every day is something else. You forgot the Red Sea. You forgot when we had no rights anyone was bound to respect. You forgot when your mama couldn't even get a cup of coffee. You forgot when we couldn't vote by law. And now you talk about you'll see if you got time to vote. Grasshopper Negro. You got free and didn't know what to do with the free. Jesus. Grasshopper Negro. Nothing worse than a grasshopper with a collar around the neck. Grasshopper in roars. Grasshopper with rings. I got my bishop ring. You a grasshopper. Doc, you coming to my anniversary? No, I don't celebrate grasshopper. What is your anniversary? Another year hopping around? If it wasn't for grasshoppers, God wouldn't have had to send prophets. If it wasn't for grasshoppers, Jesus wouldn't have had to leave glory. God has to always send somebody to admonish you to get away from these weak false folk. So now Trump is there, and y'all sitting up there buck dancing and grasshopping. And the true men and women of God need to stand up. It's time to take attendance. My friend Timothy Wright used to sing the song, Who's on the Lord's Side? They used to sing in the civil rights movement, which side are you on? You can't walk on both sides. I see you, Reverend, trying to walk on both sides of the street, and you're going to get hit by traffic coming both ways. These are defining times. But somewhere the Bible said, choose ye this day whom ye shall serve. I'm not even going to demand it. I'm going to leave the choice up to you. Choose you this day who you shall serve. But as for me, I can't speak for the rest of the crew. I can't speak for those that surveyed the land with me. I can't speak for those, Pastor Lacey, that came our way. As for me and my house, we gonna serve the Lord. Why? Because I know who brought me across the Red Sea. I know who picked me up. I know who turned me around. I know who dried tears from my eyes. The same God that brought me this far, God will lead me on. Who's on the Lord's side? I remember there was a Broadway production of the story of Ragtime. I thought about that as we planning this march. And I thought about how we had to perform and entertain folks, even when we had no rights. And even when we had to really step back from what it is that others enjoy. I never forget James Brown used to tell me the pain and agony he had in his early career, that he would have to perform in halls, that they wouldn't even allow them to get dressed in the dressing rooms. They had to dress in the bus. They're black entertainers. And run through the kitchen to get on the stage and perform until they were sweating and disheveled. Then they had to run back through the kitchen and up on the bus and get the towel off, because blacks weren't allowed to use the dressing room that whites did. And it always was a fixation of a slave master mentality, that we would become the entertainment for them. They always had us as either their entertainers or their athletes. They like big, muscular, black Negroes. Grease them down. Get some Vaseline, make their muscles rip and walk. Why? Because they can sell you better on the slave block. Because that's how they used to sell us, put us on the block and say, I got a good one here. He's tall, he's muscular. Open your mouth, Negro. If he opened his mouth, he got full teeth. He could bale a lot of cotton. He can get a lot, you get a lot of work out of this one. And 300 years later, they got you still psyched out, posing to be good slaves, entertaining their fixation, rather than standing up for your liberation. So you run around contests on who could be the one that entertained them the most, and who can be the one that beat up the other slaves the most. Hello, come on. And then you get your happy, slappy, happy white preachers. You remember Slappy White, the black comedian, just happy all the time. And that's what you got, some slappy white happy preachers. Just in the pulpit, just happy. Folk unemployed, but you happy. Folks losing their health care, but you happy. Just reverend slappy happy. Come telling you how all you got to do is think positive. Problem ain't the social policy. Problem ain't the laws. Problem is you don't think happy. How you sitting up unemployed? Mama got pre-existing conditions about to lose her health care. And somebody come and tell you, just think different. Yeah, you need to think different and run him and them out of here. Seducing you with slappy happy theology. You don't read the Bible no more. You read happy books. Yeah, they don't preach theology, they preach motivation. Now, you problem. See, if they can convince you, and I believe in positive thinking, but I believe in positive thinking in reality. If they can make you think it is on you, then you will never change the social order that holds you back. Because it's on you. What is the defense? When we talk about unjustified police killings, they try to flip it. Well, what about black on black crime? But black on black crime doesn't give you the right to shoot her son 19 times. Black on black crime don't give you the right to choke her husband to death. But if they can turn it on you, you will blame yourself for being a slave. I remember I was growing up going to school. And we talk about slavery. And the kids would say, yeah, but blacks sold them into slavery. Yeah, but you bought them into slavery. Made us work for nothing. Made tobacco roll. Made cotton king. Made this the most industrious country in the world. And then turn around 300 years later and look at me and say, make America great again. I made it great in the first place. Society. But on my back, never got paid. You raised up a nation that even they had to respect. On my back, we built your economy. On my back, you took my name, took my religion, sold my mama. I never did find out what happened to her. And now you want to put a statue and tell me to celebrate those that used me, abused me, and prosecuted me. And you want to know why I want it down? You will take that down and your false religious images. Because I've been over the Red Sea now, and I know who I am. You can't know God if you are ashamed and unclear on who you are. The celebration of God is the celebration of the creation that God made in you. If you're ashamed of you, then you're ashamed of the God that made you. So I'd like to get along with those in power, but it's against my religion. It'd be all right to talk to Trump and give a photo out and do the slappy happy, but it's against my religion. It's against my religion to watch y'all building stuff and my people can't get contracts. Not like I want to start trouble, but it's against my religion. Because when I wake up in the morning and I'm not blind, I got eyes to see. And I know that God blessed me with sight. It's against my religion to see and not call out what I see. Oh, Reverend Al, y'all just start trouble. Johnny and Patrick and them, y'all just troublemakers. No, we Baptists. When I was 3, Bishop Washington baptized me. Then when I wanted my daughter to go to church, Bill Jones baptized me again. And when I went to the water jacket, and I stood there, I don't know what Bishop was thinking at 3, and I don't know what Bill Jones was thinking. But I believe when he immersed you, he washes away all that fear. He washes away all that cowardness. He washes away all that submitting to those in power, to where you submit to him. I went down a grasshopper. I came up a liberator. I went down culture. I went down one way, I come up another way. I might be wet, but I'm liberated. That's why I thought about ragtime. Aretha Franklin sung it one night to me. We going to Washington to make them hear you.